What's going on, everybody? Z here. Welcome back to some more Astroneer. We're continuing the Megatech stuff, but today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about Megatech. We're going to be talking about the buildings, the structures. What is Megatech really? And kind of just the gist of it a little bit. So hopefully, first of all, you're having a wonderful day. I'm having a fantastic day. And without further ado, let's just get on into it. So you have got yourselves a fancy new DLC. If you do not have the DLC, you do still have a couple things available to you. You have this intermodal transport. I'm not actually going to go super into this guy right here. Essentially what this does is it allows transfer of resources between planets. That's about it. I also haven't played with this a whole lot because I feel like it's fairly self-explanatory, but that is a update thing for everybody. Also, this giant building right here, this is the distribution launcher system. This is also available to everybody. Also, I don't know if this is working for me right now. It feels like it's kind of bugged, but anyways, we'll get into that here shortly. We've got our biodome right here. We've got the museum right here, and I don't think you can see it. We've got, let me see here. I am in creative mode as well. Also, I want to state that I am in creative mode because we were testing all of this stuff, and I will talk about why we're in creative mode because typically I do not like going into creative mode. Well, anyways, we have the platform built. I don't see it. It's probably because it's daytime and I have it permanently day. Anyways, let's get into this, shall we? So we're going to be talking about the three buildings. We're going to be talking briefly about each one, what they kind of do, the overall goal, and my thoughts on them, I guess, if you will. I will say that the museum is probably the centerpiece here for some of the stuff regarding the DLC and kind of explains a couple things. So keep that in mind. But let's talk about the DLS, the distribution launch system, first, because this is the first thing you're going to be interacting with. So how this system works, basically you're going to build it, and once you build it, you're going to charge it up, and then there's going to be these tubes over here, which you can load whatever item you want. So if you want an intermodal transport, you can load that into here. If you want a biodome, you can load that. This one, so this is where I think my thing is bugged. So right now, there's no museum option. I have a museum here, and maybe you can't have multiple museums. And then this one right here is for the orbital platform. This is probably the big one that everybody's going to want. Now, in order to unlock this during normal gameplay, you do have to do one of these other ones first, and I think you have to get to stage 1 on them. So you do have to do that, and then this one unlocks. So once you do that, it's going to come out into this thing right here, and then it's going to pop down a box. It's going to pop down this little thing right here, and then you're going to place it like you would any other one. However, it's not going to go on a platform. It's just going to pop out here. And then when you place it out, it's going to give you this little hologram. Yes, it's going to be halfway into the ground. This is what it looks like. We'll talk about this a little bit more in the future, but for now, the DLS. So once you decide which item it is you want, except for the orbital platform, because like I said, that comes out here. You just pick it up from here. You don't have to do anything fancy. You are going to then go to a landing pad, which you will print in here. This will give you your construction anchor landing pad. Now, let's go ahead. Let's see if I can do the intermodal terminal one, because like I said, for some reason, this one seems like it's bugged and it's not working. It says there's like an error that there's already something loaded, which there shouldn't be. But again, I don't know. This update, unfortunately, is very buggy. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you, but let me see. So normally we would hit F to use and it would work. It would come in here, it'd land, it'd parachute out, and then you would grab it and go place it. So for some reason, it says pad is occupied. I don't know. Not 100% sure on that. Like I said, I don't actually know. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. Maybe you can only have one museum per planet. Maybe you can only have one biodome per planet. I don't know. I tried to do the intermodal thing. I would feel like you could have multiple intermodals per planet, but it's not really acting like I can. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Now, let's say you did that. You got your first thing. Awesome. What is that going to look like for you as a new player? So what you're going to do is it's going to give you basically a little thing that you place down. It's going to give you a hologram. You're going to see exactly what it looks like. It's going to give you this thing right here. And once it places down, you're going to be able to open it, and it's going to tell you right here, stage 1 of whatever item it is. So orbital platform, stage 1, biodome, museum, intermodal transport. Intermodal only has one stage, so you don't really have to worry about that. But all the other ones, they're going to have multiple stages. So you can see exactly what the requirements are right here. So stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now, for the orbital platform, I did not verify stage 1 particularly, but basically what happens is you build this stage 1, and what it's going to do is it's going to place a box here. Once you get this box, you're going to then place it into your intermodal, you're going to place it into your distribution launch system. By opening the little bay door, you're going to launch it in there, and then you're going to hit a button. Once you hit the button, it's going to do a little cutscene. You're going to select what planet you want that orbital station to be around. Once you hit that, it's going to load in. Boom, you're going to have an orbital station tier 1. Now, we don't believe you can go to it at stage 1, but I'm not 100% sure because I never tried. Then, once you get that stage 1 done, you're going to go to stage 2. Stage 2, my guess, this is my guess, and I don't, like I said, I don't know because I never tried to go to stage 1. I believe you could probably go to stage 1. Stage 2, I believe, adds the crafter and the ability to like move around, because you can move the station from planet to planet if you want to. It uses Astroneer as fuel. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I believe stage 2 is going to allow you to move it around and give you a crafter, because this is essentially the crafter that's on the platform. Then, once you get stage 2, you're going to be able to build stage 3. Stage 3 is going to give you creative flight while you're on the platform. It's kind of a big deal. It's awesome. It does require 20 nanocarbon alloy. It's pretty sick. So, those are the things that happens. Those are the stages. That's what you get. Now, we're going to talk about, and we're going to go look at the orbital platform, but I wanted to talk about what these platforms actually did and how they functioned, and the stages, because as you can see, different stages require different items. So these are going to be stacked. You're going to build this one first, then you're going to do this one, then this one. So that gives you an idea of how expensive things are to build. Let's now talk about the museum. We're going to talk about the biodome in a minute, but we're going to talk about the museum. The reason I said the museum is the focal point of this update in the DLC is because I believe the answers that the buildings you are given, like the biodome, are answering the question of the museum. What that means is the museum has different requirements. There are different little milestones and little fun things you can do. So you can generate power, and there are milestones associated with doing that. So you can see right here, we have 18,000 power donated to this museum. If we donate 100,000, there's going to be a milestone, which we might get a reward, whatever, what have you. So there's milestones associated with each one of these. So there's that one's power. This one is bytes. So donating bytes. However, I don't even know how you do that. How do you even donate bytes? Yeah. So this actually, you know what's funny is this bytes per minute. I never even tried this one, and I have no idea. Anyways, we'll skip that one for now. This one right here. This is going to be your resources. So you can see we have 32,000 resources donated. Basically what you do is you bring resources over here, you put them in here, and then they give you points. The points are different depending on the resource. So Astroneer, for example, gives you from 91 to 406. Was that 15? What did I say? 91 to 406. Is that 15? So this gives you 15 points per deal. Whereas this guy is only going to give you, let's see, 21 to 25. This one only gives you 4 points. So depending on the item you place, depends on how many points you get, and essentially, again, there's milestones associated with it. Now, the biodome, I believe, is the answer for this one. The museum that wants seeds. So seeds donated, seeds required. 5,000 seeds. That would be insanity. Absolute insanity if you did not have a way to farm seeds. That is the answer of the biodome. Now, I want to be completely transparent with this. The biodome does not do what I hope it was going to do. It does not, in any way, shape, or form, does not do what I hope it was going. I hoped it was going to give us the ability to essentially farm the pumpkins for the events, farm those resources that you had to be near, those things. I was hoping for that. It does not do that. Now, it can farm seeds for your little friends. So like, well, actually, no, it can't. No, yes, it can. So mutant Hisbine seed, right? Let's say you wanted to farm for Sylvie. You can plant that in there because so aggressive plants cannot be planted in here. However, the mutant versions that are then nice can be. So this mutant Hisbine seed, right? Let's grab one of those. This is growable in here because it's not the volatile version. It's not the one that's going to try to get you. So you can actually plant that in here, and that can farm your seeds for your little space friends. And I'll kind of show you how that happens here in a second. I don't want to start it yet though. So it can do that, but it can't do like, the pumpkins, the recipound. I don't believe it does recipound, and I don't believe it doesn't do the event ones, unfortunately. So kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So like I said, this is answering the question of the seeds here, because like I said, 5,000 seeds is nothing to scoff at. So how do you get those seeds? Well, There are some upgrades within the biodome. Once you get the biodome to stage 3, you get the ability to go into here. This is a printer, and you can print these different items. So we have a biodome expansion. We've got an auto fertilizer, auto harvester, mega oxygenator, resource pod, and an auto planter. I have since crafted all of those. This is the expansion right here. It just clicks on to this spot right here. So like if we grab this, this is what you print off, and then you place it on here, and then that does that. That's what it does. And then this is the resource pod. This essentially allows you, allows the installation of canisters on the biodome to grant it storage options for automation operations like harvesting and planting. It gives you storage for automating harvesting and planting. Basically what it does. The other things, auto fertilizer, basically gives you, plants can stay fully grown for longer. I'll show you the growth cycle here in a minute. The auto harvester, obviously it harvests plants. The mega oxygenator. This one personally, I think should be much better than it is. So what it does, it provides a planet-wide buff that slows down the suffocation rate. So if you're out and you're suffocating, you're running out of oxygen, this slows down the rate at which you run out of oxygen and suffocate. It is minuscule. It almost does nothing. My personal opinion is that if you are to the point in the game where you are building this mega structure, and you are to the point in the game where you can afford to build the mega oxygenator, this should provide planet-wide oxygen. There is no reason that it shouldn't, because by that point, you already have an oxygenator, a personal one on your backpack, and you already have QTRTGs. All of this would be doing at that point, because of how long it takes to get to this point and how late in the game it would be, all this would be doing would be freeing up backpack slots, which for me would make it worth building this. Other than that, this is completely useless because, like I said, you will have an oxygenator and an RTG before you can get this. This is completely worthless. There's no reason for it. Get it out of here. Don't even waste your time. Personally, that's what I think. Now, if it gets changed, if it ever gets updated, that should provide planet-wide oxygen on whatever planet it is, because then it would make it the entire use case of the biodome. You would want one on every planet with an oxygenator. Absolutely, 100%. That would make it worth it. That'd be super cool. That's not how it works. That's not the case. So, but that's just my opinion. If you disagree, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Now, when you print stuff, it takes a very long time. So you're going to print stuff. You're going to hit everything's going to be blue on here. You're going to hit print. It's going to take a very, very long time. You're going to think it's not working. Well, probably it is. The only way to check if it's working is if you hover over your little containers and you can see your resources going down. If you see your resources going down, it is working. If you've left it for like 10 minutes, you come back and none of the resources are going down, then you might want to do a little troubleshooting. This becomes very sketchy. Troubleshooting with this is very, very sketchy right now. If you remove canisters while it's printing, you have the possibility to break it forever. If you try to cancel the print, you have chances to lose all of your resources attached forever. They might just disappear out of existence. So if you are printing something, my personal recommendation is if you can see that none of the resources are going down, grab a resource and pull it off and see what happens. If it's good, and you can hit the cancel button, put the resources back on, print it again. I have done that a couple of times with things that weren't printing, specifically the museum. The museum, for some reason, I had an issue with. I hit the print button. It said it was printing. It didn't do anything. Here, let's hit this one, okay? So I hit the print button. It wasn't doing anything. I was like, what the heck? What's going on here? I came back. Like I left it like this, basically like this. There's no progress bar anywhere. Like there's nothing progressing anything anywhere. Like you have no idea if it's working. There needs to be a little progress bar on the screen or something like that. Now, let's see if we can verify that this is actually taking any resources right now, because I don't actually know which resources it's going to be taking from. But you should see the resources going down somewhat. Okay, so for example, steel. I can see that steel is going down. So it's at 15, now it's at 14. So I know it's working. I can see something going out of this. So I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to break it. I'm going to leave it alone. That is the way with this right now. It has the ability to break. I don't know. My biodome personally on my actual survival save, I have a piece of aluminum half loaded right here because it's like a half nugget. And if you guys remember half nuggets or any like other than full nuggets, you realize that that is now probably broken forever and never going to work again. That slot is now busted. So, yes. But the crafters do work. They just take a very long time, and there's no indication that they're actually working. So, that is what the Biodome does. The Biodome answers the question of the seeds. Again, the bites, I'm not actually even sure about the bites because I'm in creative mode. I don't play creative mode very often, so I don't know a lot about creative mode, but the bites I'll probably have to test a little bit on or something. We'll figure that out at another point. Now, let's talk about the actual Biodome here. So, we crafted ourselves an auto planter, sorry. Let's go ahead and grab that, throw it on here. And let me talk about the cycle of this guy. So, if we go and grab our seed, did my seed disappear already? It might have. So, let's grab this. We're going to plant it in here. Now, your plants are going to click to these little slots here. And what's going to happen is you're going to plant it. It's going to grow pretty quick. It's going to grow pretty fast. So you can see it's going to be fully grown in 55 seconds. Once it hits fully grown, it's going to hit a fully grown state. During that time, that is the optimal time to harvest it. And when you harvest it, I don't know, maybe you get better chance at seeds or something like that. I don't actually know what the bonus is. I don't know what the buff is. But there's also going to be another timer once it's at fully grown. And that's going to be until it wilts. Once it wilts, it turns brown, then it dies. I'll show you that all right here. All right, so 1 second, boom. Now it's fully grown, and well, hold on, it says fully grown in 60 seconds. Okay, well, apparently it lied because it's still not fully grown. How are you not fully grown? What? There it goes, okay. So now it's going to wilt in 86 seconds. Now, it says can be harvested. The peak yield time is now. So maybe this has a chance to give you more seeds. Maybe it has a chance to give you resources. I have noticed that some of the plants that you plant in here actually give you like resin or quartz or, some random stuff like that. But I actually want this to wilt. We're going to let this wilt so I can show you what happens when it wilts. It turns brown and you get your seed back. Every time it's ever wilted for me, I've always got my seed back at the minimum. 1 second and wilted. So now it's wilted. Dead in 47 seconds. Can be harvested. Get it while supplies last. I'm actually going to let it die. We're going to let it die off, and we're going to see what happens. If it goes completely dead, what happens then? Because I've seen the wilted part, but I don't know if I've seen the dead. So it looks to me, maybe dead, it actually disappears. Get it while supplies last. It might. It might actually disappear into nothing. So you might actually lose your seed at this point. And it says dead. Can be harvested. It's the original Ring of Life. Oh, you just get your seed back. Okay. Anyways, so let's plant that. Now, let's go ahead and enable our auto harvester and our auto planter. So what's going to happen? Obviously, it's going to auto harvest and it's going to auto plant. But this is where things kind of get a little interesting and it gets a little confusing for me. There are slots on the outside where you can place containers. So I have this medium storage silo. Now, if I try to place this on here, it pushes it away. So from my understanding is this tries to keep itself clear of anything except for seeds. So once the auto harvester grabs a seed, it will place it on any open storage on the platform, and then this will try to pull that seed to then replant it. And I do believe that's how we get more seeds going. So let's do this. Let's actually start with, a couple seeds. Let's start with like 4 total. So there's 4 seeds right there. And we want this to be auto-planted. So we can put this over here. You'll see it'll pull it right there. And then boom, it shot it down to the ground. And then if we put it onto here, boom, it pulls it, shoots it into the ground. Now what happened before, and I'm curious if it'll happen now, is it was actually pulling from nearby. Okay, so it's not doing it now. Let's see, what about over here? Okay, so it pulls that and then replants that. So we've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planted. So what it's going to do is obviously it's going to auto harvest. It's going to auto plant. Now we're going to leave this, let it do its thing. We're going to see how many seeds we come back to, how many of these plants it duplicates. Because like I said, the entire purpose of this building, I believe, is to get you seeds. It's not going to get you seeds unless it's making more than 1 seed per time. So yeah, we're going to leave this. We're going to let it sit. We're going to let it do its thing. And then we'll come back. Now, let's go talk about the platform, the big daddy, the thing that probably everybody's excited about. Let's go ahead, let's launch to the platform and let's go take a look at it, shall we? I have lots of thoughts on this. I have lots of opinions on it. I love it and I hate it all at the same time, and I'm gonna explain why. So you can see here it is floating right here. We just head to it like anything else. It's gonna give us some landing pads that we can select. There you go, there it is. Let's go ahead, we'll select ourselves a landing pad, maybe, possibly. All right, so let's select one over here. I just realized that that thing is gonna plan landing pad. You know what? I wonder, ooh, so earlier I was saying that it wasn't working because it said there was already one in the launcher. I wonder if having one queued up like this is preventing it from launching another one. Like this one's in queue, so we actually have to get this like a stage before we can send another one out. I wonder if that's the case. Very interesting. Anyways, here's the platform in all its glory. Yes, my goodness, it's amazing. Now, what I love and what I hate. I will tell you right now, I love the design. I think it looks really cool. What this offers is something that's very, very fun. It offers a really good place to build a base. This is the ultimate definition of the ultimate base building spot. You can see you have power plugs ran all over the platform. You have ultimately true flat everywhere. Everything is going to be a flat surface. Everything looks amazing. You have an easy way to get around if you have the hoverboard. So for example, we hoverboard around. Oh, you know what? We're on true flight. We're on stage 3, so we have flight on here. So it doesn't really even matter. Okay. So yes, if you hit stage 3, you get infinite flight. Hold on a second. Get out of here. I don't need you anymore. So you have this platform, you can build all kinds of amazing stuff. You could build your whole mega base here. You could do all that stuff. And I love it for that. I absolutely love it for that. I think it's actually really cool. It has this feature in the middle. So like let's talk about the giant asteroid in the middle, right? That's like the biggest thing. Why does this look like resin? Do you get resin from this? No, you don't. It's just soil. Now, soil is cool. Soil is not cool. It is what it is. I think a lot of people were kind of expecting you to be able to harvest resources this way. Like this was going to be some kind of resource harvesting beam or something like that. It's not. This is just an engine essentially that allows you to move from planet to planet using Astronium. All this is basically like I'll show you. It's just a loaded thing. So you can select what you want it to look like. If you want it to look like a compound, you go in here. It's going to reload as a compound. Yep, so there it is. Now it's going to be a compound. Oh, look at that. Amazing. Very cool. Yeah, okay. So while that's all cool, fine and dandy, all the different things are cool. You know, you got the sphere, the flat platform, the donut, the compound, resin, asteroid, and asteroid field. The thing that is the most exciting about this platform, for me, is the flat platform. So let's switch over to the flat platform. And let me explain why this is exciting, but this is also where my irritations start to come in. This is super cool. It gives you literally a flat platform to play with here. But the reason this is so cool, as you guessed it, it is an infinite source of soil. You can mine this without destroying your planets. You can literally grab yourselves a rover, you hop into here, you use your fancy new large soil canisters, you go to town, and you mine this bad boy out. Now, it is not very deep, but basically you just mine this in a circle as much as you want. Let's do this. Let's go down. So as you can see, it ends. I want to show you what happens when you fall off. Like say you mine through the bottom, right? What happens? Oh no, I'm gonna fall forever. No, it just pops you back out above it. Brings you a little warp thing. It just pops you right back out up here. So nothing super crazy, but you have an infinite source of soil. You can literally mine this as much as you want. And then when you're ready, and you are like, okay, cool, I'm done with it, you can go hit the button again and it will reset it. So for example, there's that giant hole right there. Also, if you build off of this over your platform here, like let's say you grab a tool and you build like out over here or something like that. And you go like this, right? Let's say you build a whole bunch of stuff over here. You make an absolute mess. You come in here, you hit your flat platform again. It's going to remove all of the soil except for where that center area is. So there you go. There it is. And now it's back. And you have, again, infinite soil, which is amazing. The infinite soil is amazing. And it would be super amazing to use it and to harvest with it. However, The first little issue that I'm like, this is really cool, but it's also kind of annoying. By the time you can make this platform and get to this point and like actually utilize it, you're going to probably have a base that's bigger than you want to move. You're going to probably be beyond needing a bunch of soil and stuff like that, because soil, I mean, you can use it for a handful of things. You can use it, you know, resin, compound, quartz, clay, whatever, which basically gives you hundreds and hundreds of those materials, which is amazing. But again, by the time you can build this, you're pretty end game, you're pretty late, and to move an entire base planet side to up here, getting your full storage system going, your full sorting system going, like, I mean, for me personally, I have what, 15 of the large platforms. Each of those have 3 of like the large canisters or medium canisters on there. Like, that's a lot of trips in the shuttle back and forth trying to move stuff, not to mention everything else. So it is really cool and I really like it. However, it's kind of like, if you could somehow start on this and utilize this, it might be a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's cool. I like it. Will I put a base on here? Probably at some point. But like the resources, it doesn't gather your resources. The only thing it is infinite soil. So you don't have to destroy a planet if you want to get a whole bunch of soil. That's what it is. That's it. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Now, the other things associated with this, you may have noticed this over here. There are these little platforms. So on stage 2, like I mentioned, you get this this crafter down here. So in the crafter, we have a construction anchor landing pad and a mega terrain platform. So the construction anchor landing pad is the landing pad, just like you see here. Wait, can I call a landing? Can I call it in here? What happens now? Construction anchor not loaded. Interesting. So you can call it in and then you can place down your mega structures on here as well. Obviously, this is the beginnings of a biodome, which would be sick to build on here. That would be so much fun. I love it. Also, building your museum on here would be super cool. That's like super uber exciting. But the other thing is the mega terrain platform. That is this thing right here. I'm going to go grab one of these and show you how this thing kind of works. It is super dark over here, by the way. So if we unlock this, we can grab this. And basically, it's just this giant button thing. So there's a couple areas. There's one there. There's one over here. This is what it looks like. It's going to hook to these little round spots. However, you can only have so many of them on a platform. Oh, you can't even have one on those. So it looks like you only get one on each side. So there's a couple here. As you can see, these are all like disabled though. It won't let me place any on there. However, I believe if we go to the other side of this platform, because it's essentially 2 halves, you know, you have your engines in the middle and then you have like this half and then this half. Let's go on this half and let's see if it allows us to build it. I believe it does, because you can see the ring around them is still red. Yeah, so I think we can place this here or not. Yeah, that's actually really weird. I guess you can only place it on one of them. Well, anyways, that places down. It fills in a terrain area. Now, the reason that this is exciting is, let's say you have the Exo Farm event. You need soil in order to plant your pumpkins. Well, guess what? You can still set up some pumpkin stuff here. You can still do some mining and stuff like that. Now, if let's say you mine that. Okay, this was a really bad example because this was the first one. Let's say you mine this. I did a whole bunch of stuff here. I mined it. Now, if I go in here, grab this, pick it up, and then put it back, it fills it back in nice and flat. So if you do stuff on there, you need to redo it. There you go. Easy peasy. Now, this also is cool. It gives you options. It gives you abilities. It gives you stuff to participate in, you know, whatever. You can grow crops that you can't grow in the biodome there. That's super cool. Like I said, it's just, yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's interesting. I think we were all thinking it was going to be a giant resource harvester. You were going to be able to like maybe select a resource and it was automatically going to harvest resources. I personally thought that these kind of looked like drills and it was going to be like drilling and like there was going to be an output and then you would hook up your intermodal thing and then you would have it transfer to your planet and then you would somehow get new resources and, you know, stuff like that. That's kind of what I thought it was going to be. Not exactly, not so much. But it's still cool, and I still like it, and I still want to build a base here. I think it would also be really cool if there was a special mode or an ability or a way that if you had the DLC, that you could actually have this as a starting area. I think that could be super fun to make this as like a starting base. That would be so, it would be so cool. I don't know, I would love it. But yeah, so that's what this ring is. I know, it's interesting. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. Did I miss anything about this thing? Or am I overlooking something? Leave a comment. Let me know. Again, I'm just going off of my opinions here. Now, let's go ahead and let's head back. And let's go look at our biodome and let's see what it's up to. All right, so how's our system looking here? Oh, it's looking pretty good. So as you remember, we only left it with 5 or 6 of these things. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Okay, so we are getting, we're actually getting ammonium from this and mutant Hisbin seed, which is actually really good because guess who loves these seeds? Our little friends. So you can grow worm seeds, if you will. Now let's go ahead and let's place ourselves maybe a resource canister. And let's say we want to put this on there and we'll put this here. That'll pull. Where did that resource canister just go? Oh, it's over here. So that's pulling all of the ammonium off. Now you can do the same thing with the seeds. So let's grab another one and we'll place it here. And let's go ahead and grab this, place that there, put this up here, and voila. Now it's also going to be snacking on the seeds. Now, if I put this as, I'm actually kind of curious. This works pretty good for this, but like what happens if we have more seeds? Like I obviously want more seeds going in here. Does this take priority over what? Oh, it does pull it out of the canister. Oh my gosh. I didn't even, okay, so I didn't test that. So large resource canister, let's go with that. Because guess what? This bad boy right here, this is 100%. We should be able to put that on there, no problem. So now we can have a large canister on here. And then let's go ahead and grab this. We'll enable the output on that, and then that'll, these should all probably go into here. No, they're not. Huh. That's really weird. So what happens once this is empty? Okay, so that's full, so that's not going to get any more. Huh. Okay, so I would not use a large resource canister on that because that's going to block these from replanting. Interesting. I was thinking it was going to fill this and then, but anyways, there, that's what's happening. But as you can see, we have lots of stuff here. We actually have a lot of wilting ones because they can't harvest fast enough. So what I would probably recommend is getting another one of these guys. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's grab this and we'll throw this over here. And let's see, turn you on. So that way we can keep up with the harvesting. But you can see we started with 5. We now have like 100 in here. It's pretty cool. It's neat. It's nifty. And that's what it is for this. That is going to allow your museum stuff. Now, as far as bytes go. Okay, so we gave ourselves some bytes here. Now, how does this work? 60 bytes per minute. I guess it's just going to take it out of your bag. Oh yeah, it does. So we can say we want 300, and so you can change it. So I guess this is going to work as a network. So if you have a network of stuff bringing bytes in, say you have a bunch of pumpkins hooked up and they're getting you so many bytes per minute, you can actually set this to however many bytes you want it to draw. So there you go. Very cool. That was actually super easy. Also, I didn't talk about it, but here's the display case platform. Here's the display cases. Some of the items that are available in here, I believe they are in. So here's a little robo bonsai. I don't know if these are, I think these are like the little decorative things that you can place on here. And that's kind of like what these are for. So you can see like there's those. Look at that. Oh, this is really cool stuff. Look at that, you know? Snow globe. Oh, it's a little bitty platform. That's super cool. Ship in a bottle. That's the ship from our thing. Model planet. Silva. Oh, just solo. That's pretty cool. Oh, I like that a lot. That's actually really neat. So, but yeah, there you go. Hopefully this answers some of the questions. Oh, also, let's talk about the Mega Deconstructor. Mega Deconstructor. Let's say your platforms are fully built, right? You don't need them anymore. Like this guy. If I go to here, completed, right? Nothing else there. I'm going to test this live with you. I should be able to place this on here. Hit Mega Deconstruct. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to just remove this part here. It's not going to actually remove this part here. So you no longer need that piece right there. There you go. It's gone. So now you don't have to worry about that. Same thing with this one over here. Now, I believe if you put that on your actual thing, it's going to make it disappear. And you do not get any resources back. So be very careful. Maybe don't do it unless you really, really need to. But yeah, there it is. There's Megatech. I hope that helped. I hope that answered some questions for you. If you have more questions, leave a comment down below. Like I said, I did all of this in creative mode because, and again, I will say because, these buildings are very expensive to make. They take a lot of time. And I'm not going to lie, like I said, this biodome was the first thing that I built. I took it all the way to stage 3. I realized it couldn't do what I wanted, and I was a little bummed. I was like, what is the point in this building if not to do, you know, some of the automation stuff that we were looking for? But it's still pretty cool. It gives you tons of seeds. I mean, like, look at this thing's at 32 of 32 seeds already. So there's that. It's pretty cool. But ultimately, like I said, everything for this biodome is meant to help you with this demand right here, this plant demand. It's basically this. Think of this as your mission board, and this is the things to help you accomplish the missions. That's what's going on here with this. So this is cool. It's neat. It's a completionist kind of thing. If you have lots of stuff, you know, you want to work on, you want to get super high numbers on power generation or, you know, resources donated or whatever, you can absolutely do that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. It gives you options. Like I said, the biodome does that. The intermodal thing, again, we're going to mess with this more in the future. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. There's rocket ships. They move resources from A to B. You probably select, I actually haven't even looked at the UI. Station loading, tier 1 items. It looks like for the most part, let's see, intermodal. Well, actually here. So shuttle loading mode, unload, automation mode, manual launch, automatic launch, recall shuttle, shuttle destination. You have to pick which planet it's going to. Yeah, so there's that. But I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. We might go into a little bit more of that in the future. But yeah, as far as my main save, personally, I don't know what I'm going to do because I want to build, I want to move my base on to that giant platform. However, like I said, I do already have a tier 3 biodome, so I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to deconstruct that and lose all those resources. But then at the same time, we could build our base on that giant ring, but then we have to automate stuff and take it to the ring, you know, from planet side, and it's just like, I don't know. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Are you enjoying the update? Yes, I know there are some bugs. There's lots of bugs. There's multiplayer bugs. There's game-breaking bugs. I've seen lots of people talking about it there. I'm sure they're working on it, you know. But yes, there are bugs. The game is running rough as we speak. I'm in this creative mode. It's running fantastic. But in my last episode, I actually had comments that people were saying, hey, I thought your video was kind of messed up, but it wasn't. It was just that it was that framey and it was showing on the video. Normally, I don't have to worry about that. Normally, you can push past it. Normally, you can push over 60 frames per second, so you can't even see on YouTube, but it was dipping below that. So yeah, leave your comments. Let me know, what do you think of the DLC? Are you enjoying it? Are you having fun? Because ultimately, that's all that matters. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.